Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of TFT Hyperroll from Mission for Tuition. It's called Mission for Tuition because we are trying to raise money for our son's middle and high school tuition. You know the drill. No donations, no memberships. Like, comment, subscribe to help with the algorithm to get more views to the video, and that'll help raise money for tuition. And with that said, let's get started. Now, parts of this game are going to be a little duplicative with things that I've done before, but I want to show you kind of how to make something out of nothing and how you get there, because this game just did not want to commit to anything specific, and so I was forced to kind of work around what things were. I grabbed a mutant and checked the mutant buff, and it's Adrenaline Rush, which is a great one, but I didn't get any 3-cost mutants or anything particularly exciting at this point in the NPC round. Now at this point, I'm hoping that I'm going to see a 3-cost or even a 2-cost NPC come out, but I get a magnetic remover and a bunch of gold, which doesn't tell me much, and then 3 augments that are kind of really specific. Overpower, I'd need strikers. I don't have any strikers. The One for All is good for syndicates, but I don't have them. I decide to just go with underdogs and then see what I can do with this. But it really was a difficult decision at that point. So I'm just going to start by picking up whatever I think can make the team strong in the beginning. Maybe we'll go with Innovator Scrap, maybe not. This moment, I'm not sure. The problem with even the concept of Innovator Scrap right now is if I were to put out an Innovator, Little Mr. Roboto is going to count as an additional member of the team, which is going to go against my augment, which is underdogs. So ultimately, I want a team where I'm going to have less champions on the board more often. Given the fact that I'm clueless right now, the spatula is the pretty easy choice because that will give me a lot more options going forward. And at this point, I'm just playing the best board game. I have 3 silver champions. There's 0 synergy there, but 3 silver champions on the board gives me a decent shot at winning and not losing health points until I can hopefully figure out what this build is going to be. Now, as I'm rolling to figure this thing out, the game is giving me a ton of Cassidans, and I decided, you know what, let's just create a mutant emblem, and I can start heading in that direction, because with this many Cassidans, I feel pretty confident I'm going to end up with a gold 3-star. The other piece of that puzzle is that having underdogs will work really well with Cho because you automatically have 1 less champion on the board, so you're going to be more likely to be an underdog and getting some health. So a bruiser, mutant type build will work really well here with that augment. Since Rek'Sai and Cho are bruisers, and I was able to get a Rek'Sai, I'm feeling a little bit better about this. I've now triggered the mutant buff, and if I can ever get a Cho, then the team will start to fit together well. Ezreal obviously is out of place, but the best champion I have at the moment. It's time for the second augment, and not exactly what I was looking for, but Blue Battery will work, especially once I can get a Malzahar into the game. I had turned Yaoi into a mutant to be a bruiser, but Zac is just so much of a better champion that once I get that opportunity, I'm going to go in that direction. I now have a Malzahar, so I'm up to 4 mutants, and Ezreal not being of any use, especially holding onto that rod, I can take out, put in Malzahar, and give Malzahar the Hextech Gunblade, which is, as we've talked about a bunch of times, an absolutely critical item for him. And while this build is starting to come together, it is missing one very, very important champion, and that is cho'gath. Without cho'gath, this entire thing will fall apart because you're counting on cho'gath to be large and in charge and also consistently triggering the underdog buff. And while the NPC round did get us a gold Cassidon, it still has not given us a Cho. I decide to go with Tear of the Goddess simply because putting the blue buff onto Malzahar is just too tempting. We finally get our Cho. That means 2 people are coming off the board to put on Cho, but this gives us our 5 mutants, and now we also have a Malzahar with a blue buff and a Hextech Gunblade, so he's going to be able to be pouring out lots of healing. And you can see the impact very quickly. The team starts off automatically healing until it turns the game around and we are in the majority. But it allows them to stay in longer, which allows them to get in and Cho to get a couple of feast stacks. And of course, we're going to have to get through our obligatory list of Yordle teams with Corkies, with blue buffs, jeweled gauntlets, infinity edges, and all such items. But this team is going to be fairly strong against that, especially starting off with the underdogs. It's time for our final augment, and this may seem counterintuitive, but I couldn't resist it. If given a chance to get an additional player on the board, I'm going to take it. Now, it does undermine the underdog strategy, but I'm hoping with strong bruisers, and I fed Tom Kench a 2-star Zac so I could pick up nearly 1,000 health on him, 795, and then turned Tom Kench into my additional mutant. So I'm running 5 mutants and now 5 bruisers with the hopes of getting to 7 mutants before the end, eyeing the kaisa at the bottom. Now, even though we start off on an even playing field, I want you to see how well this all ends up working out. When my team drops below their number of players, which happens pretty quickly, the underdogs kick in and I start gaining health, which is also helping my Malzahar keep everyone alive and allows the team to go through and prevail. Now, when this game started, I was not thinking anything like this would come about. I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to make of what I had, and took underdogs as just the least of 3 what felt like bad options, but it's working out really well now. The NPC had a Bloodthirster on it, which didn't really fit anything I was doing. I grabbed the Warmogs for Cho because I just want to make him super strong and healthy so he can regain a lot of health. The Bloodthirster I'm now going to load onto Kaisa and use her as an AD champion. And the reason is we're running Adrenaline Rush, which means now that we're at 7 mutants, she's going to be getting 3 attacks for every one of her normal attacks. So it's better to move her into the AD direction than into the AP direction. Normally you want to scale Kaisa off of her AP because of her ult, but in this case, and because I was forced to take a Bloodthirster, I decided to go AD, and it seems to be working out really well as she's doing a lot of damage. Her ability to dart away is what's going to make this all work really well for her. She stays off to the side and is hitting multiple targets with the Runin's Hurricane and gaining back health with the Bloodthirster. When Tryndamere comes close, she darts away, does her ult, and then is able to complete doing damage, leading the damage charts overall and bringing us into the top 4. Now, the NPC gave us an Infinity Edge, which will make an excellent pairing with the Last Whisper on Kha'Zix, and Giant Slayer will be an absolutely fantastic item to go on to a now 2-star Kaisa. Again, yes, this is really turning her into a main AD champ, but when you have Adrenaline Rush as your mutant ability, AD Kaisa is extremely powerful. How powerful, you ask? Well, there's the obligatory full Yordle perfect build, Corki, gold, everything we want it to be team, including a Jinx, so they have the scrap. They are set up perfectly, but Kaisa does not want to die. She's destroying everything, blowing the damage charts away, and leading the entire team to victory. If you get Adrenaline Rush and you have that opportunity, go with an AD Kaisa. It will serve you well. Hope you enjoyed the video and have an absolutely awesome day.